most common questions I get when doing my coaching sessions with you guys throughout the years is what is a great warm-up routine? Probably the best tool on the market right now when it comes to developing your aim, developing your movement, literally just working on every single aspect of what makes a good Counter-Strike player elite. That is going to be Refrag.gg. This video is in zero way sponsored by them at all. This tool is just very good, and I don't see a lot of tutorials out there explaining the real gritty part of it. So I'm not gonna waste your time today. We're gonna hop right into it. I'm gonna show you the best parts of Refrag. Starting out here on the dashboard, once you get signed in, one thing that I think is really cool that you can do is launch a coach routine. This is just going to take you through a consistent warm-up where you're going through different game modes that we're going to cover later in this video. And you can customize like the preset, you know, what guns you're going to be using, how long you're going to do it, the map. You can choose a specific map to practice on. So it's pretty cool. I think that a lot of you guys could benefit from that and find a lot of good value out of it. Ultimately, for me, I think that what I like to do is actually just launch different servers, and we're going to talk about a few of these game modes. Well, you can literally pull these servers up while you're in game, or you can just launch them individually here. I'll explain what that means later. But for now, let's go ahead and hop into what I would recommend you kind of start out with. And you think it might be aimbots, but actually we're going to load up a Nade server here. And sure, we can do ancient. We start the server and let the magic happen.
This video is brought to you by SkinsMonkey, the best CS2 trading site out there. Swap out your low quality skins for fresh new ones using all of their trade features. I love the filters that you can use to get the exact skin that you desire. I have personally used SkinsMonkey to build my inventory over the years. Right now, use my code CoJo at the checkout for an insane 35% deposit bonus. The best part is that you will receive a $5 bonus by clicking the link in the description.
So once the server loads here, you can go ahead and copy this button right here or launch it in your game. Either way, go into Counter-Strike. All right, so once we're in Counter-Strike, you're going to paste that into your console. It's going to load the map here. What I launched this in is NADR mode. NADR mode, what this is going to be a way for you to throw nades around the map. This is awesome because you can click E on these boxes and learn how to throw these instant smokes when you watch videos like on YouTube, stuff like that. It's really sick. But for your warm-up routine, people forget you have to warm up your nades. So I sit here and I actually just run around the map throwing different nades, different flashes, smokes. Literally, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You are just getting good at flowing. I call it flowing with nades. If you can't flow with nades, you're going to struggle in this game. So you're literally just seeing how things bounce off walls, different pillars, different positions, learning how to throw stuff backwards, for example, like this. There's just a lot of good value you can get out of 5 minutes of running around. People don't realize how simple, how effective, how easy this is. Get your coffee in the morning, load up the server, and let the magic happen. Now, once I do that, and maybe run through some set utility as well, I'll actually launch it into aimbots. Aimbots 20 is what I'll do. Sometimes I'll just launch normal aimbots mode. Aimbots 20 is going to mean 20-degree angle, so all the bots are going to spawn in front of me. They're not going to be all over the place. But either way, you can roll with aimbots 360 or this one, and you can sit here and practice your shooting. I'd get in here for 5 minutes, going through different taps, sprays. The biggest thing is make sure you're actually moving, not just sitting here and going boom, boom, boom. No, you're actually like implementing some movement into your training as well. You can type in the console, so I can go .m4, practice my M4. I can do .op, get an op, and just run through this. But what I think is really cool about this is that you're actually practicing on the angles you're going to have inside of the game. Also, you can launch it into .prac mode here, which is pretty sick, which means you can skip. So I can go through different scenarios. .s. Say I want to specifically practice on this one. Perfect. We can load that up and do that. But I don't want to spend too much time on aimbots. You kind of get the idea behind that. One of my favorite modes to roll into next is crossfire mode. Crossfire mode is sick because these bots are actually going to come out here and try to fight you. And at high elo, it's going to be a little annoying because they peak you very, very like slim. But if I do .com, might be a better example here where they're actually going to sit out here and swing. So it warms you up and gets you ready for actual game scenarios, game environments where you have to limit your angles. You have to peak them very effectively. And if you mess up, you know, you overexpose yourself, you're screwed. So very, very, very highly rated way to implement good aim, good movement. Just get yourself nice and loose, nice and warm. I like to listen to music while I do these game modes. It's very sick. Another game mode I like to use is Xfire. So you do .xfire on the console. This is going to be like pre-fire, but on steroids. So you can see it's going to be a good mixture of bots on static angles, but also they're going to peek out at you as well. So it includes a little bit of movement. Again, I just call it pre-fire on steroids. I think that if you do 10 to 15 minutes of this on the map you're trying to train, it's pretty valuable, pretty effective. So 5 minutes on aimbots, 10 minutes on crossfire, 10 to 15 minutes on Xfire. These are going to be your good gunplay practice. So you could also mix in, like I said, that nade practice 5 minutes a day. I think that's probably one of the most effective ways to start flowing and getting better with that utility. So definitely don't forget about implementing that. Cool, you get the idea. This is cool game mode. You just follow that, go through it. It's amazing. Now, another thing that you can do is you can sit here and launch spray transfer, or it might just be .spray. Let's see. So Dot spray is awesome because it's going to make it so that you can work on these spray transfer modes. You can see right there where people are going to peek you from all these different angles, and you have to react and hold mouse 1. That's all you're doing, holding mouse 1. Now with Refrag, you do have an elo that is attached to your name. So I see my elo is really high here. I'm going to get deleted pretty much instantly. If you roll into comp mode like we did earlier, that's going to negate this and make it so that you don't really die. So you can maybe focus on more consistency, and you can focus on just your recoil instead of trying to stay alive, which can be nice sometimes. But this is probably the most effective way to improve your recoil control. So definitely don't forget to do this type of training. Another cool thing you can do, dot momentum, and this is going to train your movement. It's going to take you through different scenarios where you're actually going to follow this little trail, do these movements. People always ask me, how do you get better at this? How do you improve it? Well, spending 5 minutes a day on whatever map, just running around following these trails. Of course, looking at like movement tutorials on YouTube is sick as well to learn how to air strafe, how to actually do this. But this is where you're gonna test it out and get some reps in for your games. And if you fail, no worries, it just takes you back to where you were and you can kind of run through it like this. So develop elite movement, very easy, very simple. Other than that, like if we go back to the Refrag website, there's a lot of stuff on here. It tells you like what the commands you can run. There's like a community hub here where there's a utility hub where you can learn utility, like different scenarios and maps here. Genuinely, there is so much stuff you can test out. There's an op game mode that we didn't even talk about. At any point you can terminate your server here, no worries. It's just very simple. It's very easy. I'd recommend checking out the boot camp and academies as well. They could definitely be worth it to learn and like go through like kind of like a class and a course. One big thing I have to shout out as well is I'm going to be doing personalized coaching, and I'm going to open up classes on my end of things. So please do not miss out on your chance to join a class, join a course hosted by me, hosted by some of the greats in the scene. I'd love to have you there. So other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Appreciate you big time, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out.